got up this morning, I crawled out of my bed. My back was really aching, my eyes were cherry red. It's just the morning after, I don't remember who was here. I'll eat a slice of that cold pizza and wash it down with warm beer. I got that not so fresh feeling from my head down to my toes. I think I had a good time, heaven only knows. It's just the morning after. Lord, it's funky up in here. Help me now, yeah. I'll eat a slice of cold pizza and wash it down with warm beer. Yeah, you got it now, hey.
That's right. Yeah, you got it now. Hey, welcome to the morning after with JP and Big Joe. I'm JP. To my left is Big Joe. How you doing, Big Joe?
Hey, when did you get here?
Hey, about the same time you did, about 10 seconds ago. How you doing, man?
Dang, I'm doing really good. I got all my notifications popping up that, oh shit.
What? Wow.
Okay, I'm still.
Whoa, that was scary. I mean, you said, oh shit, and then you just disappeared. Well, your mic's off. Well, we're off to a good start here. Joe, your mic is turned off.
All right, how about now?
There we go. There's the man. How you doing, Big Joe?
I was getting all these notifications saying that we just went live, and I tried to swipe one of the links away, and I clicked it.
Oh, okay. So you sabotaged us. First thing.
So I apologize.
First 10 seconds of the show.
We're doing it to ourselves, man.
Yes. Welcome to the morning after.
The first 10 seconds.
Oh, well, that's all right. At least you lasted 10 seconds. Sometimes people have a problem just, Anyway, welcome to the morning after, everyone. JP, Big Joe. We got Marcus Kirchen on the program today. You might know him formerly of Hatchet, Demon Hammer. My man's been in a lot of bands in the Bay Area for a long time. Much respect, much love and respect to Marcus. We're going to be talking to him in a little while. Thank you for watching us. If you're watching on Twitch, give us a subscribe, give us a follow. We're affiliates now. We're big time, meaning I'm not sure what that means, but we're big. So definitely give us a follow, give us a like. We're also on YouTube and Facebook. Thanks for watching, everybody that watches. And if you're joining us on the replay, if you're joining us maybe Saturday or Sunday, if this is I just want to say hi to our future viewers. Okay, so if you're watching us on the replay, we do love you. It's a shame you can't join us in the chat, but we're still here for you. Okay, thanks everybody. And that's all I got to say about that. There's that Forrest Gump line I like to say, and that's about all. So thanks everybody for watching. Yeah, man, we got a big show today. You excited, Joe?
I am excited. I would have been a little bit more excited if you would have used the Forrest Gump accent.
Southern's not my strongest. I've got a couple accents I can do, but Southern's not my strongest. I can do it, but it sounds kind of cartoony. It doesn't sound real. Yeah. Can you do a Forrest Gump?
Genuine. No, I can't. I try to impersonate people. And I have a friend named Ron, and he's got this really deep voice. Like, we're always telling himself he's too loud. So if I try to, and I can impersonate him perfectly. And when I try to impersonate other people, it turns into an impression of Ron.
You so just go back to your Ron.
Yeah, hey, if you want to hear my Southern accent, I'm like, oh, I'm from the South. How's it going, bro? That's how Ron sounds.
So all your accents are basically just Ron.
I can't help it though. Like, hey, you want to hear Jack Nicholson? Hey, bro, how you doing? You look how I feel right now.
So, how does Ron feel about your impression? Do a lot of people impersonate him? Is he sort of known for this?
He is. He's a good looking man. I'll tell you that.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
Ron, his name is actually Mike. But in high school, he had a mustache, and so they called him Ron Jeremy. But yeah, he's just this lovable, nice dude, and he's loud. He's a bass player too. I used to give him bass lessons.
You know what's
Another
funny
guy
is that
from
I'm not
Benicia.
I'm not from Benicia. I talk about Benicia a lot. I'm not from Benicia, but I know a lot about Benicia. Isn't there? I know of Ron. I don't know Ron, but I know of Ron because there's memes of Ron, aren't there? I saw one. It was a good.
Are you
It
talking
was a
about
good
the
one.
with him in a towel?
No. It was a good one. I think Belden made it. JB Deadline, Benicia legend. I believe he made it. It's a picture of this fella Ron that you're describing, and then there's a duplicate image of the exact same photo right next to him. So it's photoshopped to make it look like two Rons, and it says two Rons don't make a right.
I think I think my buddy JB made that one. We went through a little camp where we made memes of Ron. We actually made a Facebook page called "I Like Your Style," or it was just called "Your Style" because Ron would always tell you, he goes, "Man, I like your style, bro."
Is that where that came
It
from?
was just like, damn. Yeah, it's like, damn, I like your style. Like, I like your style. So we started a page called Your Style. And then if you like on Facebook, JP likes your style.
Oh, that's smart. That's smart. JP liked or likes your style. Oh, smart.
Likes.
They should make other Facebook
Now,
pages with funny names like that.
Right. So the page is not active. I mean, it is active, and I'm a moderator on it, an admin on it, but I can't get away from the page. So I get updates all the time. Someone checked it out. Someone sent me the message. I've tried to leave the page 7 times. I can't. I just let it go now. It won't. Your style will not let go of me.
Tell me this: where's Ron nowadays?
Ron is, I believe, he's in Concord or San Francisco. He's definitely brewing beer. For I don't know if he's a brewmaster yet, but I could tell you he brews beer with a local company in Benicia, and he goes to festivals and wins fucking medals, first place medals.
Well, he actually kind of sounds like an interesting guest. We got to get him on the show.
He's cool. He has a bass with a whammy bar on it. I tried to buy it from him a million times.
What's have you ever had a whammy bar on one of your basses? I feel like you have.
Yeah, I did. It's right there.
You did.
Yeah, on my Fender Jazz bass.
I think you hit some whammy bar in the song High Five for Zombie Holocaust on Entitled to Enlightenment. I think there's a part where all the music stops and we're about to go into a middle section and you go, pa-wang, bow, wow, 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 wow. Maybe you're just sort of shaking the bass or something, but I want to say you had a whammy bar because I was actually there the day you did bass for that song.
So on that one, I actually didn't use the whammy bar. I was pretty much hitting the bass and going on the frets,
Okay.
Just not put your hammer on and pull off, but it was a slide between 2 half steps. It was perfect for that moment. I know exactly what you're talking about because it's something that if we're loud and going full speed or going full on, it wouldn't have been noticed. But it was a time where everything was kind of coming up to a transition, and it was a bass solo that it was things that I normally play and I rehearse at home, but it was definitely an improv solo. I didn't have that. I don't even know if I was going to take the solo right there, and it just kind of.
Well,
you guys
I remember
right open for me, and I was like,
I jumped out of my seat when you did. It was like you did this when you hit that sort of vibrato thing or natural whammy bar note. I remember jumping out of my seat, being like, "Yes!" Because you had improvised it, and I was very very excited. Jumped right out of my seat, man. Those were the days.
The whammy bar's a little bit trickier. Do I know it? The whammy bar is a little trickier. I normally just save that for harmonics, just raising and lowering them, or dive bombs. Doing kind of like a whoa, just doesn't translate the same. See, I don't even know the noise. It sounded like a turkey.
Yeah, I noticed our sound effects aren't too good on this show, and we try our best, but I'm no Michael Winslow, who is the sound effect guy from Police Academy. There's a 35-year-old reference for you.
That was right. Winslow, I immediately went to what was that? What was TGIF with the family from? I think they're from Chicago, and the dad was a cop. Steve Urkel.
The Family Matters.
Yeah, I was thinking of you talking about the son?
No.
Oh, Carl was the dad, but Winslow.
Carl Winslow. Was it Carl? God, it's been so long. I love Family Matters. I love the song the most. It's got one of the best TV theme songs ever.
See, I'm mixing them all up. I have Step by Step in my head right now.
It makes total sense because they're written and performed by the same motherfucker.
Smiles.
They're written and performed by the same guy.
Yeah, right.
That's why mixed up. So the Step by Step one, the Family Matters, and Full House, and Perfect Strangers, all composed by the same guy.
Yeah, watch all that stuff.
And the vocals, definitely the same guy on Family Matters and on Full House and Step by Step. Definitely the same guy. All right.
I'll have to check those out and compare them. Those are fun times, easy times.
Yeah. I don't know why I know all this stuff, but I do.
Hey, man, you gotta know something.
Yeah. So, Christmas is coming. You got any special plans?
You know, Christmas is real hard for me. So my family likes to do a Christmas later in the year, right? So what we'll do in the beginning of the year. So we'll do January, the last week of January. We won't celebrate Christmas until then. We're all so spread out, and it's just cheaper to fly everybody in.
And
but having two young kids, yeah,
right? So sorry, Joe. We're on a horrible delay here.
I have to keep up. I know it. Let me try to log out and log back in.
Okay, we'll do that.
All right.
All right. We'll see you later, Joe. All right, ladies and gentlemen. That's Joe. He's going to log out and log back in. And we're going to leave me here awkwardly while we wait for Joe. So that's kind of a weird situation that he does Christmas in January. I kind of want to know how that works. My birthday's in January. So we're waiting for Joe to log out, log back in because the delay is so bad. We got to get this man some Wi-Fi, folks. Get him a hard wire. Anything going on in the chat? There is nothing going on in the chat. What a great day. What a great day. Hey, there we go. Someone's there. Good morning. Good morning, Coach Lore. How you doing? Coach Lore recovering from surgery. What a savage. She's got a bunch of stitches in her tummy. Still watching the show. Still typing. Still commenting. Look at that. A little shade. Wow, Joe. Probably because he just left me in the middle of the show like that. It's taken him forever to come back, too. I hope he's okay. We might have our guest Marcus on the show before Joe even makes it back. So, probably now is a good time to mention that our show is sponsored by Trilogy brand medicated beef jerky. That's right. Today's episode is sponsored by Trilogy brand medicated beef jerky. I believe they have an Instagram. You can go check them out there. Ask your doctor if Trelegy brand medicated beef jerky is right for you. Okay. See, so JP, this is your time to shine. No, it just doesn't work that way. Unfortunately, I just clam up and I get nervous. Let's see if we can get Big Joe back on the stream here. Big Joe, how you doing, man?
Yay! How's that? Is that better?
I can't tell because he took a long time to answer.
Did I?
Are you still doing it, or are you messing with me?
That one was on accident, but I did take a while on the second one.
Okay, answer as quickly as possible. Joe, what's 2 + 2?
Yes.
Okay, good enough. All right. Well, welcome back to the show, Big Joe. I was just flailing awkwardly in your absence, just sort of wondering where to go next. There's nobody really in the chat, so I had to sort of improvise. And then Coach Lore showed up, so it's all good. Yeah.
It's too real.
It's a little strange that you do your Christmas in January, but it made sense when you told me about the costs of airplane or airfare rather. Is it because it's cheaper post holidays?
Yeah, and just not everyone's trying to travel, so those prices are a little bit lower. And it's a little less stressful, but when you don't make a lot of money and you're trying to buy your tickets, you're trying to buy your presents, for the people who celebrated on the right day. But it's actually kind of fun. I enjoy it, getting with the family. And once everyone's together and you put the Christmas tree back up, and then we actually do New Year's later on in the evening, we do the countdown. It feels like the real thing.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that makes sense to me when you explain it that way. Okay. First, I thought you were just some weirdos.
Oh, we're weirdos.
Well, I'll be certain to send you a Christmas card in January, okay? Because I know that's when you celebrate. All right.
That's gonna be awesome.
What do you say we bring our guest on?
We have a guest.
We do have a guest, ladies and gentlemen. This man is a vocalist. He has been all over the Bay Area, just rock scene. I don't want to just say metal because there's black, there's thrash. I believe, I was going to say, I believe he's been involved with some punk projects, so to speak. So without any further ado, let's bring on our guest. We have Marcus Kirchen. Ladies and gentlemen, what's up, Marcus? How you doing, man?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm doing very well. First of all, I just want to say I'm very excited because your video and your audio is very clear. So thank you.
Yeah, no problem, man. I had a little practice with it, so.
Okay, good. So, how you doing today, my man?
Pretty good. It's Friday.
It's Friday. That's why we do the show on Friday. We seem to have people come on and they're in the best mood because it's Friday.
Yeah.
So, Ron, what's going on with Marcus lately? We're all in COVID times. We're all trying to get band practice going, but nobody's really doing it because we're all stuck inside. What's going on with Marcus?
Shit, man. Well, I've been jamming and I'm learning. I'm not really learning to play bass, but I've started to pick up the bass. Demon Hammer actually is kind of back on track. We just got a really good drummer about a month and a half ago. We've been working together and we jam once a week, twice a week.
So you guys are able to actually get together and jam?
Yeah. We just moved into a pretty cool studio. It's got really good like energy, and we just wanted to utilize it and kind of get a head start on this because we feel like when everything comes back to normal, or at least semi-normal, people are going to want to see some fucking, new music, and they're going to be happy to kind of just, check out some new stuff. Because I think before COVID, shit was kind of like nobody was like super pumped up on metal or music. And it just seemed like, COVID probably is kind of a thing that'll make you think like, oh, well, we took all this shit for granted, and now look, we're stuck in a house. We're limited. And
yeah, you make a great point. I've never really thought of it that way because maybe maybe a little break from gigs and just metal music, maybe it's for the better, because we might come out here, as you said, we don't want to take this for granted. Maybe we'll come out of this thing and these shows will be even bigger than before.
Hopefully. I mean, it might take a little while for people to get comfortable. But as for me, man, I'm going stir crazy. Like, to be honest with you, I've been kind of just doing my thing and trying to not let the mask and all the, negativity get to me. I mean, I'm still working and staying busy. I'm really happy and fortunate to kind of just, have my head together right now. So
yeah, totally.
all good, man.
So where are you guys jamming?
We're jamming in Oakland, and it's in Jack London Square, like kind of on the outskirts. I don't know if you know where like the old Metro. I'm sure you know the old Metro, kind of by where there's like a supply store, like a Ace Hardware or something like that. It's actually called Marcus Supply, and then there's a badass studio, like in Shark Bite Studios is over there too. It's pretty cool. I don't really know the name of it, but we moved in and we share it with a couple, like, I don't know, like college kids. Yeah. We had just moved in, right? And I don't think they were used to having like bands play there. So they were just like, oh yeah, here's our schedule. And it's like one guy comes in and plays the clarinet for 2 hours and kind of, you know what I mean? Like one guy plays drums, but his drum set looks like it's been sitting there for years collecting dust. So who knows, if they really come through and jam, but it's been cool. It's got really good energy, man, because before Demon Hammer, we were practicing in some really slummy places, like just really, ghetto spots. And we were in like the Tenderloin for a while, jamming there. And before that, we were in like West Oakland. So, the mood, like when you like leave the jam spot, is kind of like sketchy. And, it kind of creates that vibe where it's like, I don't really want to like be around here. But this place, it's got really good energy and we kind of feed on it. It's clean and cool and fucking we're there to play, really. So
that kind of reminds me of how OMC used to be. I don't know if you ever had a room over there.
Yeah. I've been there. I used to jam there, but I never really liked OMC because it was so dingy and like people smoked cigarettes in there, and it was like, it's kind of like a fucking dungeon or something. Sometimes.
See, I was into the smoking in the hallways, so I was probably one of the ones adding to the bullshit,
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I always felt safe in there, and I could relate when you're leaving, and you got some guy pulling up on you, like, because they knew we were musicians, trying to sell us some hot gear, like,
yeah,
nah, dude, stay in your car, we're gonna go.
Shit like that, or just like the regular old homeless person coming up. Hey man, you got $1? You got this? It's like, fuck, we just jammed, dude. I'm not really like trying to talk to you right now, like. I don't know,
It gets pretty nuts out there, but yeah, being able to have a place to just be able to relax it and be able to let the creativity flow, that's pretty important.
Yeah, it's great.
So Violation Wound, we have the Cube Smart. We have a storage facility, and we buy a cube and just open the door up. Our stuff's all locked in there, and now, of course, we haven't played since February.
Damn. So you guys are on hiatus, huh? Or you just want to wait till the shit dies down, huh?
I think so. We have a couple within our camp. We have a couple of high risk people, so we're just keeping it easy. I know I'm definitely keeping my chops up, and I'm not a guitar player, but I'm definitely working on writing Violation Wound songs on the guitar, and then going back and even learning like Zombie Holocaust songs on guitar. I still practice old Fog of War songs that I know how to play. So just like I said, using the time to really work on my chops and hit the ground running when this kind of clears up.
Absolutely. Hey, I fucking stumbled across a ZH video that was just made like a couple months ago, and it's got
the quarantine one.
Yeah, man, it was cool, man. I was like, you got all kinds of dudes in there. Like Josh is up in there, and fucking I haven't seen a lot of you guys in a long time, so it was pretty cool. And the dude from Guar, was that really the dude from Guar?
That was him.
Yeah.
He gave you guys a shout out. I was like, that's fucking cool, man. And you also had, who else was on there too? I saw there was another pretty cool cameo.
Tommy Chong was on there. That was kind of interesting.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking, where the hell did you guys find him at?
What was the budget, Joe?
The budget I definitely don't know of. But I don't want to give away. I don't want to ruin the magic, you guys. Come on, like I look at the man behind the curtain.
Totally.
But if you watch, Zetro is in it too.
Oh, I didn't see. There's a lot going on, So
There is.
I mean, I had to take a second look at a couple things, but I didn't see. Once you got everybody up on the screen, I'm like, who the fuck? I'm like, just trying to focus on the music, So
Exactly. No, it's fun.
Yeah, I haven't checked in on ZH in a long time, really since probably been a good 5 years or so. So
I think we're in the same timetable. A lot of us have moved away and kind of spread apart. So we, we're still planning on working together, but it's got to be the right time.
Yeah.
So.
No, I totally get that, man. And that comes with being in a band for a long time with same dudes. It's like, what are we going to do? Like, it's hard to get everybody on the same page sometimes, and everybody's living their life, and shit happens, and it's like sometimes it'll limit you or put you on hiatus, but it's cool that you can come back to it and pick up where you left off.
I kind of figured my next vacation that I'm going on is probably to a recording studio somewhere for a week and hammering out a new album or two.
Yeah, for CH and Violation Wound.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, Violation Wound is that's been like our goal to release something every year. So we have a lot of releases, and so we weren't able to meet that. And Zombie, we are talking and kicking things together.
So JP, you're in ZH too, right?
I was. I did retire earlier this year from ZH, but yeah, I'd been in there since 2010, and then 10 years is a long time, so I retired. And
cool, man. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I've actually formally met you yet because
no, we haven't actually, Marcus. I was going to bring that up. We haven't met. Somehow our paths have never crossed, but we've sort of lived this parallel sort of Bay Area metal life. But I went to go find you on Facebook, and I was like, "Damn, we're not even friends. That's fucked up."
Well, no, it's cool, man. I got your friend request, so
yeah, my man. So while we're talking about it, let's go back in time. I want to learn about your beginnings. So, where did you get started playing music, just at all, metal, punk, or whatever? Where and when did you get started?
So around 12 years old, and it was probably around 1993, and punk rock was kind of having like a resurgence on like MTV. It was like Rancid and Offspring and Green Day and all these kind of skate punk, like California stuff, Yeah. And so I was jazzed the fuck up. I was a young kid. I was like, man, this is fucking cool. It's like high energy, like I've never heard music like this before. This is badass, right? So I fucking took the bait on it, and I had, I bugged my mom and dad for probably about a year. Like I wanted a guitar, and I wanted to get a guitar, and my ultimate goal was to eventually start a band. But so I got this guitar, and I picked it up, and I was like, fuck, I don't know how to play this fucking thing. It's fucking impossible to play. So I put it in the closet, and it sat in the closet for like 3 years, 4 years. So it's pretty funny, right?
So what made you bring it out of the closet?
I had a buddy that was in I want to say middle school. We were like 8th or 9th grade, and he picked up playing guitar, and he was learning the songs and shit and learning how to play power chords, and he kind of like mentored me a little bit, but it took me a long time. I never really considered myself a pro musician, but what ended up happening was, I met this dude and we started a punk band, in high school, and we were playing like Misfits covers and Dead Kennedys, and we were really into like that kind of hardcore.
Mm-hmm.
So that old school hardcore, like Black Flag, Circle Jerks, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And we played, and we started a band, and we got this guy to play drums for us who was like a super Christian kid, like came from, like, his dad was like a pastor, right? And he played drums for us. We started a little 3-piece, and we covered the Misfits. What's that song? Fucking I ain't no goddamn son of a bitch. You know that song?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Baby.
Where he goes there. So what ended up happening was we faked it on the talent show. We played like the Ramones song, like for the warm up, like to get on the talent show. Like we played the talent show at the high school, and to their surprise, we fucking busted out totally 180. We come out playing the Misfits, that song, and I'm singing, playing guitar, playing on my Squire, singing, playing guitar, and I said, sang the lyrics, and the fucking, oh man, they went wild. They fucking expelled me from the school for that. Yeah, so the principal of the high school drove me home to my mom's house, and fucking we sat down at the dinner table, like with my mom, principal, and the vice principal, and they were like, we don't want him to come back. He's not coming back. So
oh my god.
Yeah,
just because you sang some music?
Well, because basically I was vulgar and I fucking lied to him. But hey, like I always had that kind of like rebellious spirit, like people come to you like authoritative kind of people. I always had it kind of like with cops and authority figures. I always like wanted to fucking question them and just kind of like give them hell, and it's put me in bad spots. But anyways, we'll get to that later. But yeah, so that was that band, and what were we called? I forget what our band was named, but it was fucking cool. And then, so anyways, I jumped from that band and to another band, and we started playing shows at Gilman Street. Like I had a buddy who had the same kind of freedom as me, because my folks would let me take the BART train all around the bay, and I'd go to Amoeba and Haight Street and like Telegraph and just hit all that shit up, and really got immersed into that whole like traveling, meeting people, getting out. So
what was the name of the band that you're in now?
The name of the band I'm in now is called Demon Hammer.
Well, I meant at this time in the story, at this point of the story.
It was called we called it FTA. It was called For the Alliance.
Oh.
And I don't know if there's anything listed. There's probably nothing on there. It's before YouTube days, before.
Okay.
We're talking about 99, 2000.
Okay,
but,
wow.
One of our first shows we played, we took the BART train out to fucking Richmond, because we had heard of this place that was called Burnt Ramen Studios. And this guy, John the Baker, came kind of like recommended to me from a fella at Gilman Street. So we took the BART train over there, two fucking like 16-year-old kids, and Richmond, pretty rough neighborhood. We went out there and met John the Baker and kind of like like shot the shit with them for a couple hours, and he's all, hey man, you guys want to book a show? Go ahead, and we'll put a show together. So I did, and I took like For the Alliance, and I got like Monster Squad to play and a couple other like bands, and we had badass shows, like that was rolling. And then Burnt Ramen, like years later, just fucking took off. Like it had all kinds of ups and downs.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what was it like getting in there in sort of those early Burnt Ramen days? What were the shows like? Were they packed, and were they? I mean, it's always been sort of a no rules kind of vibe at Burnt Ramen, but what was it like in those early days?
Well, in the early days when it was when John the Baker was in charge of running the show, there was also the other guy, Mikey. I think he's probably been a mainstay there. I don't really know him though, but Ramen was pretty cool. At first, it took, I think, a while to create the buzz of Burnt Ramen, because people were afraid to leave their comfort zone, and you couldn't get a lot of kids out there. Like it was like Gilman was more like a wholesome place, and Ramen was more like if you wanted to go there and like get fucked up, and you could do anything you want there. There was nobody enforcing the rules there. There was no like security guard. There, there was like, it was
No.
completely anarchy.
As I like to joke, I've even worked security at Burnt Ramen. Which,
Yeah.
it's not much security.
Yeah. And I think like once the word got out about ramen and once it really became big in the hardcore scene, shit jumped off and it got crazy there. And, you started seeing sold out shows at ramen, but I think in the early days, it was more like 20, 30 people.
Yeah.
Getting drunk was kind of like the main objective, probably.
Okay. So you're in FTA now, and you're starting to get some shows over at Burnt Ramen, thanks to John the Baker, who is a total legend. Love that dude.
Yeah.
And so what's next? You're starting to get some shows at Burnt Ramen. It's early 2000s, sounds like.
Yeah, early 2000, maybe not even 2000.
Wow.
Might have been 2000. It might have been right there. I didn't, I'm not really good with that. I've always been kind of like a fuck up, so I never paid attention to time. I never like was like, here's the time, here's the date, But now I'm a lot more like, in tune with that kind of shit nowadays. But back then, it was all about getting fucked up, finding some chicks, playing heavy rock and roll or punk rock. We were punk rock. I didn't like metal at that time. I liked punk rock. I thought metal was kind of like, I thought it was like Slipknot and Disturbed and shit. That's what my impression of metal was. And it wasn't until somebody came along and showed me like Exodus or, stuff like that. Then I was like, okay, I can get on with this, But in that day, I was like strictly punk, strictly hardcore, no metal. And so I rocked with that, but FTA split up. Like one of the guys like became a Christian. Like that's the whole thing. Like I lived out in the Tri-Valley, and there was a lot of that Christian kind of thing going on, like Christian kids and wanting to play punk and stuff.
Oh, really?
Well, yeah. I mean, like a lot of the kids like I went to school with and that were from my neighborhood, they were like kind of into like ska and like Christian stuff, and they're, it was like they were church groups and shit.
Mm-hmm.
So, I just never could get on with it. They always try to take me to the functions and stuff, and it was like it just felt too much like a cult for me.
Yeah.
And I used to be open about it. I just tell them it's not for me, and then that kind of like outwent our friendships, because certain people only hang out with certain people, and
yeah. Maybe you're just a little too evil.
I guess so. I don't know. I think I'm a nice guy, but I had my fucking streaks. Either way, so I went on from that FTA, and what happened was I joined this like punk band, like it was like crusty. When we first started, it was like crusty, like grindy punk, and it was like influenced by stuff like Phobia and like a lot of like anarcho stuff, So that band was called the Crop Knocks. And what eventually happened was we kind of moved away from like the crusty political dreadlock of punk rock, and we got into like the Casualties and like the Unseen, and we like doing our fucking hair and all that shit, and we got signed to Punkcore Records, which was like with the Casualties and there was a couple other punk bands on there that we looked up to. So we got signed. They put out a record. It's called
Okay. Well, and what was that record label again?
It was called Punkcore.
Punkcore. Okay.
Yeah, Punkcore, and they were out of New York City. It was like, there was like the Casualties was like their main artist, and like they were, doing really big back then. Street punk was what the kind of music, like they were just, they were off the charts, man, back then, man. It was like breaking shit. Like kids were into it. And so we didn't really have punk bands like that in the Bay, like charged punk bands, like wearing studs and spikes and all that shit and playing that kind of music, like the Casualties, or like the Unseen. And we kind of came out, started kind of going on that trip, right? So we got picked up by Punkcore, and we put out an album, and we went on tour. The tour was a disaster, but
a disaster. How so?
Well, I quit the band like halfway through the tour and flew home.
Yeah, that'll throw a wrench in it for sure.
Well, what happened was I just turned 18, and we got signed, and we did our album, and then The plan was we're leaving for tour. My last day of school is like June 14th or something. So the guys kind of picked me up from school, and we were off. We went off on our road, and that was like my graduation, like fucking going on tour. So I thought I was gonna make it pretty big. Yeah, there you go. There's me, second in from the left, and we're going on tour, and doing shit, and I'm losing my mind because all the other guys in the band are older than me, and they're fucking getting me boozed up, liquored up, drugged up. Fucking, I'm learning all sorts of shit. I'm meeting chicks, and we're starting trouble. We got ran out of fucking out of Salt Lake City by some crazy militant straight edge crew, and they wouldn't give us. Yeah, like they wouldn't give us our equipment. Like they tried to steal our equipment. A couple of us got our asses kicked, kind of, before like they let us go.
So, did they want to take your equipment because you weren't straight edge, or were these just assholes that happened to be straight edge?
They were. It was definitely on the straight edge thing, and
okay.
We were kind of like, we like hung out and drank 40s, and I think the club had some sort of connection to them, like probably the bouncers or something.
Okay.
So we got stuck in some weird situation there. That's just one of the stories. But then the coolest story was 4th of July. We were playing a big party in Philadelphia, which is like the city of liberty, And so we were out there 4th of July, and shit's going crazy. We're playing in this skate park, and there's like MTV's there, and like Bam Margera's there, and all these people, and they have this big stage and like the little stages and shit. And it's kind of like a mini Warped Tour, right?
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. But then one of the dudes that we were on tour with gave me some acid. So I took like probably 3 sheets of or not sheets, but 3 like acid tabs, right? And I was like tripping balls, and it was before we were going to play. And I'm just out there, hanging out, like tripping, having my trip, and then fucking all sort of chaos starts breaking out, dude. And fucking everybody's fighting, people are hitting each other with skateboards, and this is madness going on around. It's like thousands of people. It's like chaos, right? And I'm fucking frying balls. So I was sitting there just like, I don't know what to do. I don't even think I could move. Like, I don't even think my legs were like operable. So I'm just standing there like watching shit go down, like in the line of fire. Like dudes are like beating each other down like in front of me.
Whoa.
Yeah. So then somebody like from the other band swooped me up. Like I think the dude that gave me the acid swooped me up and fucking took me to the van, got me out of the chaos. But crazy, man, they had like the riot squad came in and fucking totally circled the venue, or it was like outdoors, but they just totally circled it and fucking started moving in. And it was like, okay, it was over. And they had helicopters and shit flying over us. Like I was like, for sure not tripping balls, dude. Like I for real. This was all for real, because I asked later on, the next day, I was like, did that really fucking happen? And anyways,
wow.
Yeah, so that was cool. We got the fuck out of there. We somehow got the fuck out of there. I don't remember how. And then we ended up in like Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and this was like the next day. And I was kind of like edgy because I was coming down off of that shit. And I was like, I don't want to fucking be around anybody. This was like around the time when it was like over. We had already played CBGBs. We went to fucking Boston. We did all kinds of cool shit, but I think I was just too young, man. I just didn't know any better. And, my friends kind of like, we stopped getting on and during the tour, it gets hard when shit starts going south and, everybody kind of becomes enemies. It's like, all right, every man for himself. But either way, I was like, fuck you guys. I don't want to be around you. I'm going to just stick here in the van and fucking stay here, because they wanted to go party and shit, and I was like, I don't want to party tonight. Anyway, so I go to take a piss, right? And there's the alley right around the corner, like from the van. So I go to take a piss, and I get rolled on by like 3 cops, bloop bloop bloop, out of nowhere, dude. I have my dick in my hand, I'm pissing on the dumpster. It happened that fast. I'm like, boop. Oh, damn, they must have been watching me. Like, anyways, the city of Lancaster, Pennsylvania. So I got arrested. They took me to jail. they fucking were like harsh on me. They fucking threw me against the car, and you know, I was kind of lippy with them though. I was like, oh, it takes this many cops to arrest someone for peeing in an alley, or I said something like smart.
You were talking shit to him.
Yeah, I was talking shit for sure. And I thought I was like, well, where I'm from, people do this shit all the time. And they're like, well, I don't fucking believe that. I'm like, hey, it's true. You know?
So,
like, because in the city, you know, you fucking walk up and people don't give a shit in San Francisco.
It is pretty normal out in San Francisco, isn't it?
They'll piss on your shoes, man. They don't give a fuck. But you know, like this guy fucking slammed my head up against the car, man. Fucking cuffed me hella hard and put me in this like 30-degree holding cell. Fucking held me overnight. So I get back to the van. They let me go. I was supposed to go to court, but they let me out, and I was like, ha, fuck this. I'm never coming back here. I swear, and I went back to the van. And the guys were all, where the fuck were you, dude? Like, you left the van door open and blah, blah, blah. And it was like a big fight, right? So we were going back to Pittsburgh, and I was like, just letting them have it, you know, just laying in on them for every little thing. Like, motherfucker, I've bought you lunch and shit every day on the fucking tour, and you know, share your drinks with me, you know, shit like that. Stupid shit about band shit, you know, when you're around each other.
Yeah.
Too long, and people start wearing on each other's nerves. So
yeah. So what happened? You quit right there?
I quit right there, and I fucking said, let me out, and just let me out of the van. So they let me out. I called my mom and fucking I called my mom, and I was all send home, Mom. I'm fucking in fucking Pittsburgh, and I don't want to be in this tour anymore. So
wow.
Yeah, that was done. That was it for me, and in a way, it kind of like tarnished my legacy, like in that punk scene, because a lot of those guys that like are still around, they like go like, oh, Marcus, like, you know, they think I'm a certain way. They don't really know me anymore, but you know, I've never gotten any credit for that Crop Knock stuff, because I was the fucking A&R for Crop Knocks, and that shit broke up after I was gone. You know, it's like, I hate to say it, but
yeah. And I will say, as a metal listener, not so much of a punk listener, I've got some knowledge of it, but I know you more from your time in the metal community, not so much for Crop Knocks. And do you think that's a direct result? Do you think you sort of got a reputation, I suppose, from getting arrested and quitting in the middle of the tour?
You know, it probably just more so affected my friendship with those guys.
I see.
And I think that, you know, we kind of all just kind of went our separate ways, and we spent a lot of time together and shit, you know, like when we weren't jamming, like we'd hang out almost 24/7 and, you know, do coke and get drunk and fucking, you know, we used to hang out we had a place out in the city, and we used to fucking party over there. A couple of the guys used to stay out there, and I just used to go live with them basically. But after a while it got old, and shit fell apart with Crop Knocks. And so the whole idea was like, oh, I got a record deal and we're going to be famous. That didn't work out. my folks moved away from that area, and I moved back, and I was like, fuck, I was like living in a storage shed. I was just like living in a storage and not really getting, you know, just fucking being a burnout. And so I moved back to my folks. Like, I moved up to the North Bay, like up by Petaluma. And I got into black metal like hella bad. Like after I was like into punk, but I was leaning more into like Bathory and like Venom and shit. And then I was like, I want to like start a band like this. Like, this shit rules. And so so, you know, it was heavier than punk. It was still sloppy, you know, Celtic Frost, shit like that. And I was like, this stuff's cool. I want to like do metal now. So
yeah, black metal is sort of like the punk of metal, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. And it was more punk, you know. I felt like back then, like, you know, those guys were fucking the inventors of like heavy metal, you know. Like, I mean, not like the Dio, you know, out of
right,
you know, but like not like a fucking rock star band, but not like they were. It was just the fucking the whole attitude I was into.
Well, let me ask you this. So you've just left Crop Knocks. and you're into black metal quite a bit now. How did you end up in Hatchet, which is a very traditional thrash type of band? So you're all into black metal. How did you get linked up with these guys?
It must have been around 2006, I think. And I had been living up in the North Bay and trying to find guys to like do a black metal project with. And, you know, it just wasn't really doing anything. No, I wasn't getting any solid, so I'm getting a fucking robot call here. Hold on. Anyway, okay. So yeah, it just, you know, the basically, I fucking replied to an ad on Craigslist. I was like, I'm a musician. I like playing. I want to fucking sing in a band. And originally I tried out for Hatchet on guitar because he was saying on his site, he was like, I'm into like Sepultura, like Arise, and Metallica, like Ride the Lightning. And I was like, okay, like that's good shit right there, right? Yeah. Which are, you know, and so I kind of, you know, I hit him up and I was like, hey, I want to try playing guitar for your band or whatever. So I met Jules and we just, you know, we hit it off pretty well, actually. Like we had a lot of the same kind of like ideals and we were both pretty driven, you know, like we got on pretty well in the beginning and we had a sort of energy to us to where we were like driven to succeed. And I spent a lot of time on Hatchet, and what I did was I put a lot of my energy into it again, you know, and met some new folks. And it always helps to kind of like meet some new guys and jam with some new guys because it kind of it peps you up a little bit, gets you more in the zone. Like, hey, I want to put some fucking time into this and make it cool.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Hatchet wasn't a fully formed band at the time, was it? Because you were joining in on guitar, possibly. Was this Jules just sort of seeing what's out there on Craigslist, trying to get something together?
Basically, yes.
I see.
So,
okay.
It took a while. We had a drummer, Slave, Dave. You know, that was basically Dave and Jules were the original Hatchet.
Okay.
And I kind of came in as an original Hatchet too, you know, but I couldn't work out on the guitar. I wasn't working out. We had Jules was playing with another guy who was a little more advanced than me at the time. So I was cool with it. I was like, hey man, I can sing, you know, I'll do whatever. I just want to be in a good band. That was like my motive, like my objective. In a good band and play quality music. So, and be metal as fuck. So, you know, take it to the fucking highest that we could take it as fucking, you know, me, I was the oldest guy in the band too. Like I was probably 2 or 3 years older than Jules and the guys. So I remember I was the only 21-year-old. And I think that probably helped out too. Cause like I could bring a case of beer to practice. They like to drink a little bit, you know? So
absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. And then, you know, I kind of like, I introduced them to some people I knew along the way. And the whole Hatchet thing really took off, man. It was kind of like a cool time. Like when the original OG Hatchet started out, it was really a different time. And I think that people were very hungry for seeing that. And they were just kind of bored of what was going on, you know, like thrash had kind of died, dude. Like I remember Exodus, like I saw them play at the Pine Street Grill, like in Livermore one time. And they were like wearing like baggy pants and fucking like Cold Chamber shirts and shit. I swear to God, dude.
Yeah, there was a weird time in that early 2000s for thrash where all the old thrashers didn't know what to wear or what hairstyle to have and what music to play and all that shit.
All those guys got lost, man, I think. And I think it had to be with life because look at us, like we're a little older now and, you know, people come and go and shit happens. And it's like, you know, I got lost for a while and fucking, I walked away from metal thinking I would never come back because just, I didn't like the way like shit was rolling and the local shit was just totally different from when Hatchet was rolling. Like when I got it going, like, we were pushing, man. We were
Yeah,
I mean,
and you guys got signed to Metal Blade very quickly, maybe 2 or 3 years after you guys formed, right?
yeah.
Can you tell us a little about your experiences with Metal Blade?
Um, yeah, it was kind of like a typical label. Like we didn't really get much. We didn't really get much out of them. Like at first, they were really excited to have us. Like they wanted us to hurry up and sign the deal, and they weren't really happy that like we got a lawyer and looked over the contract and changed the contract because they really. I mean, honestly, had I would have known like how that would have worked out, I probably it's a life lesson. But had knowing what I know now, I wouldn't have signed that deal. It worked out good though. Like it really, we had a buzz, man, and people were excited. Like I remember people used to love talking to me, man. People used to fucking crowd us, and a lot of bands like rallied around us. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Look,
Yeah, you guys were shredding at Gilman here. Look at that.
yeah, man, that was like that wasn't even like the original Hatchet lineup. Like that was a couple years into it. But that was like, the height of it, I'd say. Like we were kicking ass.
Yeah, is that
classic
that's the
lineup.
homie from that's the homie from It, isn't it?
Yeah, that's Dan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then okay, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, and then that's pretty much that's a different drummer. That's not Dave. Like we parted ways with Dave.
Mhm.
Jules and him just weren't getting along. It was, typical band shit.
Yeah.
Typical band drama. We were all pretty cool. It's always hard to kind of move on from someone that's your friend, and you want to jam with them and you want to fucking have them be there for the experience, but sometimes they don't really even want to be there for the experience. Maybe they're into something else at that moment. Shit just happened.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you something. When you said looking back, you wouldn't have signed the deal. What is it about the Metal Blade deal that in retrospect, what was wrong with that deal?
They wanted 90% of the publishing. They wanted the rights to our songs. So basically, had we have signed that deal, all those Hatchet songs that you hear on Awaiting Evil would be Metal Blade songs written by Metal Blade, and we didn't want to fucking give up our basically we settled on 50-50 though, which was like the most they would give us was like 50-50, like with the publishing and with the credits and stuff. We settled on it. Originally, like I was the one doing it. I was actually, I'm gonna just go ahead and take the full credit and say I got assigned to Metal Blade just through artist relations and just me being out there talking to so many people. I was just a beacon, dude. Like I was pushing fucking hard every day. Hatchet. We're the best band in the world. We're the best band in the world. Trying to get us fucking everywhere we could,
Yeah.
Do it I could, and I had that fucking fever, like the fucking fever, just wanting to excel.
So you were really grinding, really trying to get the name Hatchet out there. Do you feel like you were the rest of the members maybe weren't meeting you halfway there? Do you feel like you were just doing all the work?
Yeah, I remember, man. We would have I would make this statement, like we had meetings when we'd have band practice. Like we'd get together 3 nights a week and band practice for a couple hours, and I would have these like meetings where I'm like, hey guys, like I'm fucking doing everything here, like as far as this shit goes, like you guys need to help me out with this. And I would like try to like say, hey, like your stage presence isn't fucking as much, you need to pick it up, stupid shit. Like looking back on it, like it's all very stupid, like just childish things that probably made people think I was either an asshole or, but I was just fucking driven, dude. And I wanted to be I saw what they were doing down in LA with there's some bands breaking out at the same time. And I just saw the buzz and I was like, we need to jump on this, man, because if we fall behind, we're not going to make much of a fucking name for ourselves. And I just wanted to be the top because I felt like we had the chops, we had gear, the sound, the aggression.
Definitely had the attention too, because Hatchet was getting some attention. I had never met you guys. I was not in a thrash metal band yet. And I was telling Joe this story the other day. One of my friends, he just got a CD haul from Rasputin's or wherever he went and bought his CDs. And then boom, right there was the the Hatchet CD, and I had never heard of you. But there it is. There's the CD out in circulation. My friends got it. It's a new thrash band. Like, so you guys were getting attention, you know? And if so, you're doing a lot of work, you're really grinding, you're trying to get trying to make a name for Hatchet, and maybe other people in the band aren't taking it as seriously as you. Do you think maybe maybe you wanted to have it eventually lead into a permanent kind, almost a job kind of thing, maybe, whereas other people, maybe, do you think that they thought they weren't that there was no potential there? Were they not as motivated? What was the issue? Why were you the one pushing so hard?
Basically it was me and Jules pushing.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a really hard time finding bass players. We eventually, we recruited one of my buddies who, he's a really nice guy. I've known him for a long time, but he wasn't like really a musician. He was kind of like a hang around in the metal scene, and we had went through a couple bass players that were like this is starting to get weird, and and the other thing was with pepping up the band and like getting people to show up on time was one of the issues. And yeah, I'd say that me and Jules really drove that band for success. I don't think all the other guys, I think they kind of thought they could just sit on their ass and produce a turd and they're going to fucking get all this attention. They don't understand that there's a lot of work that goes on into this. We're not just going to fucking be popular because we're a thrash band, dude. We need to step it up. These people are looking to us as the leader of the movement locally, maybe nationally. They want to see us, and we need to fucking make it worthwhile and make it, kind of thing. I didn't really know what I was doing, and we were young, and
yeah, like a lot of bands, you figure it out as you go.
Yeah, and then the egos get in the way, and then if you spend a lot of time talking to someone and your vision is just a little bit different, and then there's I want to clean it up and be more like this, and I was I want to be more heavy like this, and then the other guy, I want to play possessed riffs, and it's fuck, man, there's always 4 different opinions, and it's you got to really juggle them. It's that's kind of the thing. Go ahead. Sorry.
Big Joe, do you have any Marcus era Hatchet memories that you'd like to?
I will say everything that he said so far is very true. Marcus was a hardworking guy. You guys definitely were the leaders and all that. And you guys really took Fog under your wing. We met we played the Pound together.
Yeah.
And you guys didn't have a bass player. You did it without a bass player. So,
yeah.
We're watching you go out there and we're who the fuck are these guys? And then
right.
we're like, oh my god, look at that! That's so awesome.
No bass?
No bass. They just didn't have bass.
Yeah, we couldn't
find
it.
And Lou, the first bass player was Lou, right? He blew up one of my amps at a gig, setting it up.
I could see him doing that.
But no, I mean that's what helped Fog. There was a couple other people that really took Fog under their wing and got us gigs, but I think once Hatchet came about and we made friends, he really helped book us shows and really looked out for us. It wasn't you were working hard, but I never saw thought you as a dick. You guys always looked out for us. And I think once you and us started playing, then we had bands around Devastator, Zombie 2, and then we started booking Gilman shows, and Gilman was hot. The most fun to me were the Hazmat and Brahmin.
Okay.
I got to not really come up, but I got to hang out in the punk scene over there. Mm-hmm. And even though I wasn't really, I love punk, but I was more on the metal end. But there was something about the energy in that punk room when the band starts playing and the beer cans just fly everywhere. Just everybody, 20 people in that room is packed, and more would fill up. in there, and it was insane. It was
it would be a sweaty fucking mess, dude. Beer all over the floor. We loved it. We fucking loved it.
Exactly. Yeah. We had a good time. My favorite was they took us up to Portland. We had a couple shows. We did Portland, and we went to Washington afterwards, and we came all the way home. Hatchet and Fog.
Yeah, we did Seattle, man. We played Portland and Seattle, and those were some of the best times of the band. Like, I think a lot of people that came a little later kind of missed that beginning, you know, of what the strength and what the powerful, like the power of the movement was really there. Like, once we joined up after that Pound show, because I was kind of like, you know, I wasn't hip on new thrash bands or any bands that were local. And I was, you know, told about you guys basically from Jules, and we met you guys. We saw you playing. We were like, these guys are doing the same fucking thing as us. And, you know, we needed each other, you know, because we're like a 1-2 punch. And the Bay didn't have like a strong thrash. Like, there was Decap. Like, we brought back Decapitator because they were on a hiatus for a long ass time, and Matt Harvey was like same thing. Like, he wasn't really into metal, and then we got them really stoked on those Palazzo gigs. Like, we had like a Fog, Devastator, Fueled by Fire, Merciless Death, Decapitator. You know, we had like these like thrash extravaganzas, and like we were like just bringing the idea to the new, like just bringing attention, dude. And like we were getting people fired up, dude. Like, we were getting all these old timers like wearing their Cold Chamber shirts and baggy pants. Like, we were getting them fucking like, hey, I want to get some high tops again and fucking bang.
You know, you mentioned Matt Harvey there. According to Metal Archives, you were in Scarecrow. Is that correct?
Yeah, I was, but it was kind of like.
What was that about?
Well, that came later. Like, if you want, we can kind of get to that chronologically, or I could jump to it. Whatever you like.
We'll get there, because I do want to talk about Hatchet some more, because it is the meat of this conversation in a way.
So we were fucking fired up, dude. Like, anyway, we were like, take no prisoners. We had like some groups that were totally on our side, and it was kind of cool, man. It was like not really a competition back then. It was kind of like everybody played their position, you know, and did what they wanted, because we all wanted to see more people coming out to the shows, and we wanted kids to like thrash, dude, and like jump off the stage and fucking get wild and shit. And people, it just wasn't happening like that before. Right. The Bay Area kind of thrash revival. I guess you would call it a thrash revival.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
do you think it was less competitive because there were just simply less bands at the time?
No, I think it was less competitive because the if you want to say the bands that were at the forefront, we were all had something that we brought to the table. We had all been playing for a while. We were all confident in what we were doing. And I think that we all respected each other for that. Like Fog of War, if I know if I'm putting them on a gig, they're going to fucking bring it. They're not going to fucking like show up late and try to borrow my gear and fucking, you know. And you know, then, you know, other bands came along, and I think that it probably came where it was like to the point that they wanted to be like, fuck that, like Hatchet shit. Like, we want to fucking like, we're the young kids and we want to like show our shit, you know. So new bands start coming along, and then it starts getting competitive, because it's like these guys don't want to be a part of our crew. They want to like kind of like work against us, you know. And it's like when we try to come together with them, they're not really seeing it like how we see, you know. So it's like it starts to be kind of weird, and it's like, yeah, like I respect any band, dude. Like, it's so hard to get 3, 4, 5 people together and on the same page and fucking really do the work, because, you know, let's just face it, man, shit is weird. People are weird, man. Fucking everybody's got different things that are hang-ups and personalities.
Yeah.
You know, that shit kind of came into the mix, you know. But I mean, we had some cool bands come out, like when ZH was starting out, like Nick would call me like obsessively and be like, put ZH on your next show, put ZH on your next show, put ZH on your next show. And I'd be like to the point I was like, yeah. Like, I was like, okay, I'll get to it. And then finally I was like, you know what? I'm going to give this guy a shot. So I gave him a shot. I put him on a show and fucking, you know, I mean, it was cool to kind of like get them started. And then, you know, like out of Hatchet, like Dan left Hatchet and he was started to do it, you know, and they kind of like grouped up. And I remember there was like Invection was another one. And there was like Nick Ushman was around, you know, like they all had some creativity and they were eclectic in their own way. And, you know, out of Hatchet came, you know, the Laceration guys. That was like our crew. Like that was like a fucking kill team, you know, like we brought them to the gigs and they'd fucking go off and kind of really build us up, you know. And, you know, it was cool. Like I kind of started falling out with the band of Hatchet around that time, like when all the younger bands were coming up. And
yeah, let's get into that. When did you leave Hatchet and what was the reasoning?
Well, it came to a point where it was like me and Jules were butting heads.
Still there?
You guys there?
Oh, there he is.
There we go.
Okay. You and Jules were butting heads.
Yeah, we were butting heads, and you know, we just couldn't get on. Like I'd say like fucking tomato, and he'd say tomato. You know, it was like any fucking little thing. It was like we had to like bicker about it, and I got sick of it. And then, you know, came the thing where it was like, I want to be more thrash. Like I want to have more like headbanger riffs. Jules like, let's write some new shit, you know, and like I want to like write this, and he's like, well, I want to like write more clean sounding stuff, and I was like, well, it's just not gonna work, man. And it was like we were just butting heads, and we already went through like Slave was gone. Slave fell out and fucking just stopped showing up to practice, basically. So we were looking for a drummer. We got a new drummer, and you know, they were younger kids, and they weren't. We just our personalities were different, you know. Like I'm a fucking like I'm kind of a go-getter, and these kids are more like bring it to me kind of kids, you know. Like let's play video games and see if something happens with our lives. You know, fucking 10 years later, they're still playing video games and fucking not doing shit.
So like, there was some laziness involved.
Yeah, exactly, man. It's like, yeah, I just want to play my instrument, whatever. That's cool. Show up and put in your time. But me and Jules were just butting heads, man. And I was like, it came to the point where I was like, this band Hatchet, I think that we could get on without Jules. Like I had this crazy notion in my mind. So I called up everybody and I said, you know, hey, it's either fucking me or him, you know. I gave everybody ultimatum. I said, guys, like, you know, everything I've done for this group, you know, I know that you guys are all fucking talented and I know everybody feels the same way. So let's get on with it and do it, right? And fucking move on from this bullshit. Everybody fucking went against me, dude. Jules called me up a half hour later and fucking fired me. Basically, you're not fucking stealing down from me. And I said, you know what? All right, whatever. And it was hard, but I was like, you know what? I moved on from it. And
do you have any regrets about the way you parted ways?
Do I have any regrets? No. Just looking at how that group turned out and just kind of like with the way that shit unfolded, looking back on it, I'm so fucking happy I got out of that. I'm really, it's made me a stronger person and a more independent person. Just not having to take anybody's bullshit anymore.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I mean, you straight up, you believe in something and you stuck with it.
Absolutely. And that's how I am about, music, man. Like when you get me into music and I'm gung ho on something, I'll put as much fucking effort into it as I can. I'll go fucking hard for it. But the thing is it always seems like there's somebody else holding up the show, or it's like some stupid thing. It's like there's always that missing link. It's like it doesn't come together, you know? So anyways, like bringing me forward into life, like I joined, I left Hatchet. I moved the fuck out of the North Bay. And I was really good friends with some guys from Oakland. And you know, they were in Annihilation Time. I don't know if you guys know that
Of
band.
course, Lecherous Gauge they turned into.
Yeah, so I was the original singer for Lecherous Gaze. I moved to Oakland. You could find it too. I bet you there's shows of us in Burnt Ramen with me singing for Lecherous Gaze.
Yeah.
I got to see it live. It was amazing.
Yeah, it was totally different though. You know, like it was hard for me because I was a thrash like vocalist. You know, not necessarily like a singer. I think, and I think at that time, like I was high on every drug known to man. Like I went on a tear. You know, I was like fucking drinking heavily. You know, just doing a lot of drugs, and I was just not the most reliable person. Like I was out of my fucking mind.
You think you were like sad, or do you think you were just enjoying life, just fucking partying?
Oh no, I was angsty as fuck, man. Like I had a chip on my shoulder, and it was kind of like, you know, if you're not with me, then fuck you. I'm gonna kick your ass. Kind of stay the fuck out of the way, you know. Like don't bring no fucking dual sympathy bullshit towards me, because I'll fucking let you know how I feel. You know, it's like
right.
Anyways,
you know.
You
know, it's interesting that you mentioned, because I just want to go back to the Hatchet thing. There does seem to be like a line in the sand. You know what I mean? Like it's like pre-Marcus, post-Marcus. You know, there's just no, you know. So since it's such a polarizing subject when it comes to the band, I do feel like I needed to ask you about it. However uncomfortable it might be talking about it. So I do appreciate you answering my questions.
Yeah, no problem, man. Ask away.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Hatchet, you know, it was a trip because that power of that thrash movement and the way that it was rolling, like I felt like I was watching it die for some reason. Like the shows were just not living up to what the original buzz was, and a lot of the people that I had been associated with, like kind of, I wouldn't necessarily say like went against me, but just kind of like chose their sides, you know, and I felt like, okay, I need to move on from these cliques and do my own thing. So I jumped on, you know, with those guys from Oakland, and I moved to Oakland, moved in with them, and we were, you know, I mean, we were bros as fuck. Like before, like even during the Hatchet days, like I'd bring like 40 people over to their house, and fucking we'd all destroy their house, and we'd all just fucking have a grand time. And no, it was like, you know, another Burnt Ramen kind of thing where it was like anarchy. Like we put on fucking Sergeant D, fucking SOD, you know, fucking, you know, speak English or die, and then kids would destroy the couch and smash the fucking coffee table and tear shit off the walls. You know, we were fucking partying at like 3 a.m. This kind of shit would happen, you know? And so anyways, I felt like, hey man, these guys are the real thing. Like these guys are rock and roll as fuck, and they were doing their thing. And, you know, they invited me to be part of the band. It wasn't really like I asked to join. The guys came to me, said, hey, like, we think that you'd fit in well because Jimmy moved to PA, and, you know, we want to move forward, and we think that you got what it takes. So I was like, okay, I'll fucking do it. So that's
so sick. Yeah. So you're in Oakland, you're ingesting everything known to man, and you're in Lecherous Gaze. How long did that last?
Not very long. Not with me. And coincidentally, side by side, I was doing Lecherous Gaze, and I was doing Scarecrow, like at the same time, right? So and not only that, but I had like some crazy girlfriend that was like a distraction, man. It just wasn't a good time. I would say those years were probably my darkest years. Like I really kind of fell off and had a lot of troubles and was finding my way. I was angsty as fuck and just you know, a mess. I was a mess back then. And I think, you know, partially it was due from the whole Jules thing and all my broken dreams of, here I work so hard to get these bands together and, do my best to push them, and shit just always falls apart. It's like, fuck. So I thought by joining Gaze, like, we would be like the next big thing, like the next Municipal Waste or something. That was my thinking. And it was like, dude, like, I was obviously skewed, but, the drugs were heavy in the picture.
Yeah.
So I didn't do much with Gaze. We did a couple like West Coast jogs. Like we played in Ojai, and we played some really cool shows. We played in Portland and shit. And then I was also doing Scarecrow, which was badass though. Like, I'd never been able to be in a band with like pro musicians, like Will Carroll, like, like.
Yeah.
That guy's a fucking madman on the drums, dude. Like, he's a big guy, but he just fucking goes ape shit, and he fucking knows how to play. And I was like playing with Ted Aguilar. I'm like, dude, this guy's a death angel. Like, I'm like hanging out and playing music with these guys, and they completely scrapped all the Matt Harvey stuff. Like, I guess Harvey and them had a falling out. I don't want to speak on that. I'm so far removed from that. They were having a falling out. They asked me to play and sing because I was a free agent, kind of a free agent.
Oh, okay. So this was like a non-Matt Harvey version of Scarecrow?
Yes. So Harvey left.
Okay.
Yeah, Harvey left. They had some sort of, thing going on, and I think Harvey got sick of metal too, probably. He fucking moved on.
I did not know that.
So, so he left the Bay, and like, he left, and they were like wanting a singer, and I was a free agent, and they asked me to do it, and I tried my best. But I tried my best. The same thing where they wanted me to be more of like a traditional singer. I mean, I can like do it, but it's like I'm so used to singing thrash, like, you know what I mean? Like, just
doesn't part of you wonder, like, well, why did you ask me if you wanted me to change the way I sing? Like, what? Why me then?
I think it's probably I had the stage presence and the fucking the look and the attitude probably is
that
what
makes sense.
I think they wanted to have the attitude ahead of the sound, but they were really good musicians. Maybe I kind of like they looked to me as kind of like a Bon Scott or something, like a fucking rough and ready kind of guy,
A wild card. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it worked. I mean, it worked good live. It had good. It came across well live, but we tried to record, and my voice just could not compare. Like in my head, I thought I was like Bruce Dickinson or something. When you hear something in your own ears, it sounds a lot different than when you're playing back to you. It's like, oh fuck, it was cringeworthy.
Oh man,
that's looking at me like you suck, you're killing this recording. And I was like, it sounded cool live, It just didn't work out. I was maybe so inexperienced, or maybe I was a little too pepped up, on stimulants or something, and whatever happened, I just couldn't focus on the fucking thing. And the same thing kind of happened with Gaze too. Like, I just fell off. Like, I stopped showing up to practice and stopped giving. They fired me, dude. Like, I was like, okay, fuck. So I got fired, and then I don't even know what happened from then. I just kind of was out of music for a long time. I think I was doing.
What year is this, by the way?
Gotta say, probably about 2012.
Okay.
Yeah, 2012 maybe. And I kind of like just drifted around for a long time. So, that was like, those were probably the more highlights of my 20s. And then, I'm 35 now. So, pretty crazy. I live in a totally just different mindset than that. Looking back on all that, I live in a totally different mindset than the Marcus that you might have met in 2008 is a totally different guy.
Right.
There's no comparison. I think that there might be similarities and there might be, whatever, but moving forward, I think that it's been a big learning experience. So now that we've got this band together, now I'm moving forward from all the troubles and the trials and errors of being in a band and being a musician. I don't even call myself a musician. I'm more like a fucking like, I guess I'm a fucking entertainer or something, right?
I think you can be both.
Yeah. So either way, I'm just learning to be a musician. I got into country a lot, so like country,
really?
like I really like the whole record deal and the music industry and being in bands and shit. It made me hate music for like a long time. Like I seriously hated music. Like I couldn't listen to metal. I couldn't listen to punk. I couldn't listen to anything. Like it just sounded like ha 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 ha, we fucked you. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. I mean, you had been burned, in your mind by music. So,
and watching other bands like kind of just do their thing, and like nobody was like getting the excitement going. I mean, at least I wasn't there to witness it, so I didn't see the same connection as how I saw it when Fog and Hatchet were like getting on the roll. It was different, and everybody was always coming to me with negativity, and there was people in the scene that were like, oh, blah, 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 blah. I like this more than that, and trying to criticize me. And I was like, are you trying to talk shit to me, or what are you trying to tell me? Like, so I had to like step lightly, kind of.
Yeah. Well, when did things start looking up for Marcus? When did you join Demon Hammer? How are you now in a space, mentally? Are you in a better space? It seems like you must be.
Absolutely, man. I just had to take that break. I had to take a good 4 or 5 years, kind of get into music again on a different term. So, I started picking up like just what I got into music again. What ended up happening was, how I had talked about my guitar and never really being a musician and never learning how to play music, right? And here I am, like I've been in all these bands, but I can't fucking play a lick of Hatchet, dude. Like I couldn't play you a lick of any of that, Like I was a power chord, hybrid moments, kind of Misfits kind of character when I played music. I didn't give a shit. I didn't know what a tuner was, or what the notes were, the frets, or nothing like that. So I got back into guitars, and I fucking bought a acoustic guitar, and I got into country music. I got into like Merle Haggard and like Waylon Jennings, like the Outlaws, and Buck Owens, and like these guys who are fucking talented musicians. And I like the music. I can relate it to punk. I can relate it to metal. There's fucking a lot of shredding going on. It's just not in the same scale. It's just different style. It's like totally different, but it's so musical. Like they have like steel guitars and shit. And that kind of sound like really picked my ear and like got me like, yeah, I want to fucking like sing. I want to learn how to sing like Merle Haggard, dude, because nobody can fucking sing like that anymore. There's no Johnny Cashes. There's no Waylon Jennings anymore. No. Like we got all these imitators now in the world, and it's like.
So would you say that music sort of helped you get out of your music-induced funk?
Well, it took a while. During my funk, I got into like jiu-jitsu. Like Brazilian jiu-jitsu was huge with me.
I was going to ask you about that because I have seen some pictures of you in a gi. But yeah, I was going to ask you about that. Tell me. Yeah. I'm sorry to interrupt. Do go on.
No, for sure, man. For sure. So what got me kind of back on solid ground was I trained jiu-jitsu for 5 years straight, and I would train hard. Like I fucking won tournaments, won gold medals and shit. I fucking got really healthy. I stopped smoking. It really opened up a lot for me, and it opened up my mind as well. Like as far as like when you're in good physical shape and when you're it really heightens your awareness. It makes you just feel so much better about your life. A good workout can really just eliminate all the bullshit in life. And the other thing is like getting to choke somebody or fucking like get them in a hold where you could break their arm, Like some, you know what I mean? Like I used to go up in there and train with these cops, right? And like they were like, you know, straight from the academy, the police academy, coming in there and like trying to muscle you and fucking like, I've been in the weight.
They don't know anything.
I'm like, just naturally, I'm not like built like that. Like I'm a big dude, but like I'm not like a fucking steroid guy, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But these guys would come in and they just try to like put their hand on your face and like hold you down on the mat, and it'd be like, fuck you. And I would just get them, you know, and then like walking away from jujitsu class and being like, dude, I just choked that fucking cop. I mean, you know what I mean? I mean,
you're absolutely right. People have no idea that most low level white belt jiu-jitsu players could just wreck most cops, you know, or just most people, because a lot of people have no idea what grappling is, and even just a white belt would just wreck a normal person's shit. Absolutely.
The stamina it takes, like you should see the warm-ups, you know, like if you can make it through the warm-ups and you get through the class, that alone is a fucking, you should give yourself a trophy for it. But it took me a long time, you know, and I was training with some high-level guys, man, and I got my blue belt from Saulo Ribeiro, who's a world champion, dude. This guy is the man. He's fucking badass. Like he came from Brazil to you know, do our promotions, and my coach was a black belt under him. It's a very hard work ethic, man, and I learned my work ethic, and I'm, you know, I got into work. Like I stopped, you know, doing, you know, stupid ass like odd jobs and working for like $10 an hour. I got into being an electrician. And,
a trade.
Yeah, I got into the trades, and so you know, I'm an electrician and I do solar, and I started my own company that kept me busy for a long time. Sun America Solar.
You still doing that?
Still doing it, but there's a lot of competition, and it's kind of like, it's almost relatable to being in a band, because you really have to get your brand out there, and there's a lot of competition, and that's like vicious competition. Like we're not talking like trying to get on this show or that show. It's like, dude, like these guys are gonna come in and undercut you by a lot of money and fucking.
Oh yeah, there's thousands of dollars on the line potentially. Right?
Absolutely, and customers, you know, dealing with customers, it's a whole different ball game.
Yeah.
So I think that really helped me, along with jiu-jitsu and all that. Now, I mean, currently I'm not really that athletic. Like I've honestly, I had a falling out with training, and I never made it back. You know, so I actually got into drugs again. For a while, and
I don't mean to laugh, but you couldn't have said that in a more comical way.
No, for sure, man. I mean, I'm just gonna be honest, you know, like I'm not perfect. I thought I had the key to life like many times, and I've been humbled, you know, so many times. And life's just day to day is a humbling experience, you know. There's so much shit that we go through in our daily lives that it makes us who we are.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you and I, we got to talk about. Hopefully, one day you can come back on the show. We can just talk about jiu-jitsu, because I have a billion questions about that. I've trained. I'm a white belt myself. I haven't trained since COVID started.
Yeah,
but God, and you know, Josh from Fog of War is doing it too now.
I heard.
We've been talking on Instagram and sharing jiu-jitsu memes with each other and shit like that.
Oh,
so
cool.
yeah, man, we got to talk about jiu-jitsu one of these days.
Yeah,
but
absolutely. I'd love to get back on the mat too. It's just a matter of time, you know. But
yeah, you know, well, COVID kind of put put the brakes on everything. So
yeah, for sure. Looks like, did we lose Joe? I'm sorry, dude. I hope I'm not like talking too much.
No. You see, Marcus, this is the point of the show. Yes, we ask questions, you answer them. That's the point. But anyway, tell us about Demon Hammer, because that's what, I don't know. I mean, you guys are jamming. You guys started Demon Hammer maybe 5 years ago. Has it been that long now?
It's been a while, yeah. And actually, I was not an original Demon Hammer member.
Really?
Dave, Dave and a couple other guys had the band going. It was like our original Hatchet drummer was Slave, and he was playing with Dave Mountain. You guys probably know Dave.
Of course.
He's unforgettable. So they had the band going, and they had another singer. His name is Jeff. He was kind of like another local kind of hang around guy, pretty cool guy. Yeah, there you go. Look at my bald ass head. So that was our record release show. We kicked ass on that show. It felt really good to play that show. That was back when we were a 5-piece.
Where was this?
That was at the Oakland Metro in the small room, in the first room.
Oh, the little alley room, the little side guy. Yeah.
Yes, the side stage. We had that room full to the brim, dude. And I saw like Dan Souza was there. I seen like a whole bunch of other guys that I hadn't seen in years. Like I think even Nick was there. Yeah, but that was a good show, man. We had like Skeletal Remains played, and Rude, and there was a couple other band from San Jose, Chemical Slaughter. Those dudes from Satan's Parade. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a good show. It turned out well. We had momentum going. Demon Hammer has went through a lot of trials, man, and just a lot of, we had
like
weird
membership changes kind of thing.
Yeah, same kind of stuff with people who have conflicting mindsets and conflicting opinions, and
it's hard to find musicians that want to play the same music as you, man. It's hard.
The funny thing is they wanted to play that kind of music, I think, but they had another band that they were more gung-ho on. It was like their band, like this band Funeral Chant. It was their baby, and it was three of those guys were in Demon Hammer at one point, and it was like, fuck, like we're like falling short because like we had gotten an offer to play with Municipal Waste and who else? It was a Municipal Waste show in Sacramento, right? And we got offered to play this show. It was going to be like a breakthrough show, right? And the guys like didn't want to play it. I had to like pull their arms and come on, guys, it's going to be this shit, right? And we played at this place in Sacramento with Municipal Waste. It was like their off day on the Exodus tour, and we got together. It was like a Friday night. Another great show, right? And I was just always bringing great shows. And then I got us on that LA Strike Fest with like Morbid Sane and like Razor and shit. And
that was just a couple years ago. I remember that. Okay. Yeah.
So I was pretty good friends with the organizers, and they it's guys I've kept in touch with over the years, and they plugged us pretty well. I mean, we played opening slot, but we at least got to play that. And things were looking up for Demon Hammer, but the problem was the other members didn't give a shit. They were like, fuck, we want to do Funeral Chant. So anyways, what ended up happening is they quit. As much as they were like pretending to be so excited to play these shows, right? They left us hanging like 4 weeks before that Strike Fest show. Left us without a drummer, without a bass player, without, just shit out of luck, right? Basically, we quit. So we had to fucking scramble around and find guys that wanted to help us out and play the set. So we pieced together like a bastardized version of the band and went and played that Strike Fest. And then after that, it was like, fuck, dude, like we just had problems. Like we couldn't keep a drummer. And it's funny because like the music of Demon Hammer is very complex music. Like it's not just power chord thrash. Like there's a lot of shit going on. It may sound different, but to the untrained ear, but especially for me, like I thought I could just walk up in there and fake it and fucking play the bass. And, you know what I mean? Like I could walk up in here and learn this shit by ear, right? But no, it's been a challenge, man. So anyways, regardless, we've had struggles with drummers, bass players. So what we decided to do is say, hey, like we're going to find a good drummer. We finally have found a drummer that's not in 10 other bands, that is in our band, that's focused on our band, that has the same ambition. It was like, you couldn't believe it, man. We've went through so many guys that just kind of used it as a stepping stone to promote their band. Like,
that's a shame. And as you said, you found a drummer that isn't in 10 other bands. That's fucking rare.
Yes, he's not rare. Exactly. He's not in one other band. So we're like, tight knit, dude. Like he really wants to do the same thing that we want to do. And I'm taking over on the bass now, so I'm singing and playing bass. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I've been actually, this is a new thing, like within the last like 2 months. So I've been picking up the bass and learning the Demon Hammer songs. We have like 10 songs that have not seen the light of day yet, and it's really tragic because every time we have been studio ready to go make an album, some bullshit happens and someone either quits or, you know, something inhibits us that just fucking fucks off the whole mood of the band, and we go on hiatus.
Yeah.
So we finally, I think we've come out of that, you know, and we've been lucky to do it while we're doing COVID. I mean, not while we're doing, like it's like something to do, but you know, like we've been fortunate to have this to go to, and I think we all have the same goal to come out after this is all said and done and kind of reintroduce people to that vibe of, oh yeah, metal kicks ass. Because I don't know, and heavy music, and we want to thrash, we want to rage, man. That's like, we want to have a good time. Like the other thing that's weird about the metal scene, like the Oakland metal scene got really divided, like over the years, and very competitive, and like.
How so?
I think that there's just like one guy booking all the shows, and he just wants his band to be on every fucking show. And he doesn't realize that there's like so much talent out there and like so many different mindsets. And the other thing is like everything's so politicized right now. I mean, hopefully it goes away, but it's like, I'm not a political person, you know, like, so like, you're not going to hear me talk Republican Democrat bullshit. Cause it's not, I've never been a political guy, but a lot of people on the internet take that differently. When you don't want to like, talk conspiracy or talk fuck Trump and fuck this and that, you know, it's like, I don't give a shit about, I don't like Trump. I don't like Biden. I don't like any of those guys. Like, fuck those guys. Like, they're not affecting my life. The only way they're affecting my life is by holding me back. And I'm going to fucking blow through that and, you know, be my own man no matter what. I'm never going to let that hold me down. But either way, it's so, in the Oakland scene, it's so politicized. It's like, if you're not coming out and being political and kind of jumping on that train, then you kind of get shit canned by like, or put in fucking jail or something, dude. Like people like seriously have thought like that I'm like some crazy white supremacist because they haven't seen me in years and I don't talk political. But it's funny because it's like, dude, like, your vision's so skewed, man. Like, just get off the fucking internet. Stop watching the bullshit news. Life's good, dude. Like, you know, I mean, aside from the virus, like, there's so many things to live your life for, and like, and live in progression rather than be a sour-faced asshole all the time.
Well, I am 100% for keeping politics out of metal. You know, if that is the point of your band, then that's cool, because there's a lot of, you know, there's a lot of cool, and a lot of shit. Exactly. But
and
you know, it's never been my thing. So right.
To me, it kind of pigeonholes you. And we're Demon Hammer. We're like supposed to be this. We're like an evil thrash band. Like, we're bordering black metal, kind of like we all have black metal influence and, you know, non-political kind of music influence. And,
you guys are evil as fuck. They ain't got no time for American politics.
Yeah, exactly, dude. I'm not trying to save the world with my music or, you know, nothing like that. I want to give somebody a platform to blow off some steam and kind of, you know, do that instead of like, let's get together and kind of bully this other band, you know, like these guys all kind of grouped up on us and, you know, just pigeonholed us. Like, we weren't getting on shows. I had to fight to get shows. And then some guy said they weren't booking us because of like our political beliefs and shit. And I was like, dude, like, I've never come out and like, oh yeah, dude. Oh yeah. Like we had some rough goes, like with a couple promoters and stuff. And it's like, they just completely same thing, turn their back on you, kind of. No, I mean, we will say like we're we're very narrow-minded, like as far as this band, like we want to be the enforcers like of metal, like in our scene, you know. And that's not to say that we don't respect any other band for what they do or what they believe, but we believe that our music and our you know, we're trying to keep the heavy metal purity, quality kind of thing and entwined into a modern heavy metal thrash kind of a band with, you know, take no
Does that
prisoners.
get tough? Does that get tough? Sort of trying to make, I don't want to say innovative, but at least original type of music, while still, you know, as you put it, sort of staying true to traditional kind of.
Not
thing.
really, because Dave's very talented at guitar, and he comes, you know, he's not, like I said, like we're not just playing power chords, and you know, like we're really putting the effort in to kind of bring riffs that are not oversaturated, like, you know, like you wouldn't hear it on a Megadeth album, you know.
Okay.
But let alone you our biggest influences are like Megadeth and like, you know, the old kind of like Forbiddens and the Exodus Bonded by Blood album, you know, that's another really big one for us.
Yeah.
But we have our thing. We do our thing, and we don't want to like be pigeonholed as a retro band or a fucking wannabe band.
I don't think you guys have that stigma, thankfully. You know what I mean? Like in a band like Hatchet, you're kind of stuck with that old school thrash thing. You know, you're stuck. If you're in Hatchet, you're going to be known as a thrash guy. You know, so Demon Hammer, it seems, sort of has the freedom to sort of do whatever they want. Yeah,
we do whatever the fuck we want, and we don't really worry about, you know, what's cool and what's not, because we're going to be a metal band, and we're going to and we're going to give people quality no matter what. Quality over, you know, that's what we want. Now that when COVID goes away, we want to replace COVID's memory with some fucking good quality music. And
amen, my man.
Absolutely. And hopefully, you know, we can build this shit back up and start some DIY shows and kind of move away from the bar scenes and get the kids back in the mix, because the youth always really does help the movement. And I think that's
right. Yeah.
I think that the youth has really been removed from the movement just because of the 21 up thing, and nobody's really experimented like how back in the day, you know, for the kids, you used to be able to go to like the local Grange Hall or the fucking, you know, the Moose Lodge is having a metal show. But I'm not saying like I want to do that, but you know what I mean? Like
The Grange, was that in Pleasanton or Livermore or something, or
Danville Grange Hall?
Danville, that was it. Yeah. Oh my gosh! Wow, you just sent me in the past, man.
Yeah, dude. Like that shit's gone. Like you don't do that.
Yeah.
Kids don't have gigs like that, or even Gilman. Like I don't know what Gilman's doing right now, but I hope they're doing well, because you know, that's another one that we leaned on, and I've leaned on them like my whole life, man. Like that place gave me as a kid a place to go, and I met some of my best friends from there and had some crazy experiences, and I think that ultimately is the goal. Anyway, sorry for
you know, well, I mean, it's good. I mean, the future is looking bright, and the future needs doers like you, Marcus. You know what I mean? So, you know, I think you're gonna when this Corona thing does let up, the scene's gonna need doers. So it'll be nice to see Demon Hammer out there on the scene doing shit.
Absolutely. We're gonna try to do it just the best and the best way possible, and kind of do it in memory of all the bullshit that held me back, and kind of shoot out of that fucker like a cannon, like to victory, you know, like
you let it motivate you. That's good.
Absolutely. You know, same thing with the other bands that are doing their thing right now, or maybe that are not you know, feeling inspired. Like we want to give them some inspiration and say like, look, dude, don't let this shit get you down. Like life goes on. Like, you know, we're fortunate enough to not have bodies piling up in the streets. Like, you know, like I think that COVID's being managed pretty well. I mean, I hate to say it. Like, I know I hear there's a lot of cases and shit going on, and we're about to shut down again. But it's like, I haven't honestly, like, I haven't felt ill health, and I feel like that maybe the media kind of pumps fear into people a little bit. But I mean, it's a subject. Like I said, I don't want to like say that.
Yeah,
anybody
we might have to make another 2-hour show just dedicated on just this.
I'm sorry, guys. I know I talk a lot. You know, that's the thing is.
As I've said, that is the point of this show, Marcus. We ask questions, you answer them, we listen.
Yeah.
But so yeah, man, I'm glad to know that the future is looking bright. But is there anything else you wanted to anything you want to plug here? Anything you want to add before we say goodbye?
Yeah, I want to say thank you guys for taking your time and, you know, putting your neck out there for me and actually bringing me on your show. I really appreciate Joe for reaching out to me, and you know, it's been nice talking with you. I'm glad we've actually gotten to have some sort of dialogue. So now, you know, I'm familiar with you, and you know, thank you for having me on. And I hope that the show goes places, and you know, I'll be keeping in touch. So,
thank you so much. Thank you so much. You're welcome back anytime, of course.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
My man. All right. So everybody check out Demon Hammer. They've got a bunch of stuff on YouTube. Is there anywhere else we can listen to Demon Hammer?
Yeah, on Bandcamp. We have a Bandcamp.
It's Bandcamp Friday, everyone. It's the last Bandcamp Friday of the year, folks. Get on Bandcamp, find Demon Hammer, go buy some shit because they're going to get 100% of the profits, okay? It's the last Bandcamp Friday of the year. So, Demon Hammer's on YouTube. Demon Hammer's on Bandcamp. Be sure to check them out. Once again, want to thank you so much for being on the show today, Marcus.
Thank you so much. And just one thing to clarify, there is another Demon Hammer, but we're Demon Hammer Black Thrash.
Okay.
So, and we consider ourselves the real Demon Hammer because we're we're active. And I don't know if the other band's active. But
okay, well, they don't count then. Yeah,
we're the true Demon Hammer. So there you go.
All right. Well, Marcus, thank you so much for joining us on the show today. Everybody check out Demon Hammer Black Thrash. Okay. The shit is tight. The shit is heavy. The shit is true. So, Marcus, we'll see you soon, my man. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great one.
You as well. There he goes. There he goes. What a guy.
There he goes.
What a guy.
Oh, what a nice guy.
What a guy. What a nice guy. What a guy.
I dug it.
What a guy.
I dug it. No, it's I'm excited to see him the light things and light some fires up and get some people motivated for, you know, when Corona does settle down and we actually get out and start doing things, because, you know, it's not gonna be right away.
Right.
You know, I really, you know, and I was actually telling him this, you know, a couple days ago. I really think that you know, it's not going to be until 2022, and it's going to be the kids that are going to be coming up watching us try to restart that fire. You know, bands like yours and mine, you know, and Marcus, you know, trying to push and we're going to be connecting. And then it's going to be the kids, like when we were, you know, coming in going like, damn, I want to do that too. And then they're going to be bugging us to put me on my show, put me on your show.
Yeah,
I think that's when when music's really going to flare up again.
That sounds right. That sounds right to me. You know, I'm in no hurry. I'm enjoying my time. I do want to see music. I want to see bands and stuff, but you know, when I feel like it's safe. Yeah. But I do want to.
I agree.
I do want to say about Marcus, I really appreciate the honesty that we got from Marcus in this interview. I feel like, you know, sometimes you ask somebody kind of an uncomfortable question, they'll dance around it a little bit. I really appreciate the honesty from Marcus. Yeah, he's had quite a career in the Bay Area music scene. So once again, just want to thank Marcus for joining us today. It was a whole lot of fun. And Big Joe, you got anything going on today?
You know, other than just working on my chops, I'm working on some things that are new. So I'm just kind of putting together some music, and I'd like to get some local musicians up here together. And I don't know if it's going to be a gigging band, but my whole attitude with this whole shutdown is I want to be recording 5 albums next year. You know.
Oof, it's a lot.
Yeah. Well, what else am I? I mean, I'm just sitting around not doing anything. You know, I mean, I've been on vacation most of the year. So what else have I been doing? I've been working on that thumb slap and pop, man.
Well, I'm excited to hear your 10 albums next year. And was it 5 or 10? 10.
15.
15.
It was 17.
I'd love to hear 17 new pieces of music from Big Joe next year. Well, what do you say we get out of here and end it? It's been a fun show. What's going on next week? No guest next week, but 2 weeks from now we got a special guest. Ladies and gentlemen, please send in all sorts of stuff to Morning After TV. Where is that email? I know we have it somewhere. morningaftertv@gmail.com. Send us a line. Tell us what you like, what you don't like. If you have something you want us to look at, we'll talk about it on the show. So I think that's going to be it for me and Joe today. Joe, you got anything else to add? Salute. All right.
That's it. Just thanks for watching, guys. Yeah, right. Thanks for Marcus for coming on, and thanks for you, JP.
Love it. Couldn't have said it better myself. Folks, subscribe, follow if you haven't, and we'll be back here next Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And that's about it for Big Joe. I'm JP. This has been The Morning After. Thank you.